Stability permits coordination. Scale eventually prevents it. What allows a river civilization to organize water, labor, and surplus across vast territory also lengthens the distance between recognition and response. Systems built to preserve continuity gradually slow the movement of adjustment within them. Administrative expansion stabilizes abundance while quietly extending delay. The same structure that secures harvests accumulates procedures that cannot move as quickly as the river they regulate. The recurrence examined here is not collapse, nor failure, but the repeated encounter between growing administrative reach and the fixed limits of coordination across distance. Repetition matters because every successful season adds obligations that remain active. Scale transforms efficiency into accumulation. Accumulation transforms responsiveness into weight. River civilizations organize themselves around predictable flow. Flood cycles determine planting intervals. Canal systems redirect seasonal water across agricultural zones measured in parcels rather than miles. Storage centers receive grain calculated against expected inundation levels. Administrative districts align with irrigation basins connected through counting houses, transport depots, and redistribution networks. Officials record harvest totals, labor rotations, canal repairs, and taxation transfers in layered archives intended to stabilize supply across uncertain seasons. Barges move grain downstream more efficiently than land transport, concentrating authority along navigable corridors. Communication follows the river's direction. Orders move with seasonal rhythms rather than independent speed. Each institution exists to preserve continuity between water movement and food distribution. At local scale, adjustment remains immediate. Canal breaches appear within sight of cultivated land. Labor gathers quickly. Repair precedes formal record. Grain measurement corresponds closely to stored reality, yet expansion extends irrigation networks beyond direct observation. Maintenance begins depending on reports rather than presence. Scribes compress local variation into standardized entries suitable for transmission upstream. Variability becomes notation. Delay enters quietly without interrupting productivity. Expansion increases acreage. Increased acreage multiplies reporting. Reporting lengthens verification. Coordination succeeds while responsiveness stretches. At the regional basin, tributaries converge into shared reservoirs requiring synchronized labor drawn from distant districts. Seasonal rainfall differs between upstream and downstream regions. Reports describing sediment buildup travel slowly toward administrative centers. Authorization for dredging returns after conditions have already shifted. Instructions arrive calibrated to environments that no longer exist. Adjustment remains possible but consistently late. Administrative stability persists because surplus absorbs timing errors. Records confirm compliance even as local improvisation fills gaps left by delay. Efficiency appears unchanged while reaction time grows. Within central archives, accumulation becomes material. Tablets, scrolls, or registers stack according to district and year. Verification requires retrieval across expanding administrative memory. Past obligations remain active references for present allocation. Each administrative solution becomes precedent, preventing removal without destabilizing expectations elsewhere. Correction must pass through established categories before action occurs. Signal clarity diminishes not through confusion, but through volume. Preservation slows recognition. Temporal scale shifts. Flood prediction increasingly relies on historical comparison rather than immediate observation. Multi-year records guide planting expectations and labor allocation. When deviation occurs, recalibration moves through procedural review shaped by accumulated averages. Local anomalies wait for confirmation against historical norms. The river adjusts annually. Administration adjusts cyclically. Response intervals lengthen beyond the variability they attempt to manage. Nothing fails. Harvest continues. Redistribution proceeds. Yet adaptation no longer accelerates alongside environmental change. Transport networks extend authority farther along the river's course. Provincial granaries receive quotas calculated from aggregated projections. Barges converge towards centralized storage before redistribution outward again. Movement improves surplus concentration while extending exposure to logistical delay. Storm damage upriver alters shipment timing downstream without immediate visibility. Accounting systems register absence before cause becomes known. Replacement orders initiate additional transport rather than local correction. Each solution enlarges circulation distance. Circulation distance increases coordination strain. Administrative boundaries gradually reflect reporting convenience rather than hydrological reality. Jurisdictions overlap irrigation systems that follow different seasonal rhythms. Coordination requires correspondence routed through hierarchical administration rather than direct basin adjustment. Messages ascend before descending again. Time accumulates inside procedure. Authority remains intact, yet reaction disperses across pathways designed for stability rather than speed. Expansion introduces new farmland integrated through replication of existing bureaucratic layers. Replication preserves order while multiplying channels through which delay spreads. Labor mobilization reveals the same recurrence. Canal clearing requires simultaneous participation across distant regions. Summons travel according to census records updated periodically rather than continuously. Population movement produces discrepancies between registered labor and available workers. Verification generates supplementary documentation entering archival circulation. Maintenance proceeds imperfectly, compensated by surplus regions temporarily exceeding quotas. The system absorbs imbalance repeatedly. Each absorption increases dependence on future coordination performed across greater distance. Communication velocity introduces another constraint. River transport accelerates bulk goods, but binds information movement to navigable schedules. Dry season shallows slow upstream travel precisely when planning decisions must occur. Messengers divert to land routes, fragmenting reporting consistency. Parallel accounts emerge requiring reconciliation at administrative centers. Reconciliation extends deliberation time. Decisions remain authoritative yet correspond to conditions already evolving. Scale stabilizes supply while separating decision from circumstance. Fiscal extraction adds further accumulation. Taxation in grain requires measurement, inspection, storage, transport, redistribution, and accounting confirmation. Each stage produces documentation verifying completion. Documentation substitutes for observation across expanding territory. Correction becomes procedural rather than immediate. Errors persist longer because recognition must travel administrative chains before adjustment occurs. Predictability increases while responsiveness narrows. Infrastructure expands to compensate for delay. Larger canals reduce dependence on precise seasonal timing. Expanded granaries buffer shipment irregularities. Standardized measures minimize reporting variation. These improvements increase resilience, yet require additional maintenance coordinated through the same administrative pathways already extended by scale. Adaptation continues, but each improvement enlarges the structure requiring coordination. Acceleration slows, even as capacity grows. The boundary appears without announcement. Administrative reach continues expanding, yet response intervals cease shortening. Instruction cannot arrive earlier than transmission allows. Verification cannot occur faster than comparison permits. Adaptation persists within existing cycles, but cannot compress beyond procedural duration. The river changes continuously. Administration adjusts periodically. Expansion increases throughput without reducing delay. Coordination remains functional, but improvement stops compounding. The system does not collapse at this limit. Harvests continue, records accumulate, redistribution functions. Pressure distributes across layers capable of absorbing mismatch through redundancy and surplus. Local improvisation compensates for centralized latency, while administrative continuity preserves stability. Administrative ceilings stabilize operation within fixed reaction time rather than ending it. Expansion beyond this point reproduces the same relation between coordination and delay at larger scale. Across generations, archives deepen, canals widen, districts subdivide, and reporting routines formalize. Each cycle encounters again the same tension between river variability and administrative duration. Recognition occurs repeatedly without eliminating recurrence. Civilization remains aligned with flowing water while constrained by the time required to govern it. Adjustment continues, arriving slightly after necessity. The pattern endures, intact and functioning, sustained by the same stability that prevents escape from it. If you found meaning here, you're welcome to explore more on Timeless Questions, where we examine history not for answers, but for understanding.